Oh, okay. Yeah, so just starting to, I just thought this time usually I go into the meditation with the poem, but I wanted to just share some images as well on the recording for Elder. Um, oh, I'm not sure. I'm okay. So this is the Prakaunik. I don't know if you can see it there, and it looks like the bird that is sitting there. I'm going to check into that, but that to me looks like a rook because it's got that not a black beak, but a silver beak. I love rooks, so that's sort of interesting. And then the other thing that I wanted to share was this one, which I did use in the posting, the Karen Cater. So you can see there that it's got, um, although sometimes the ohm symbol that she uses is different than shows up in other ones. Um, so although that one is okay, and it's got the elder berry wine, the elderberries there, and then having its date being from the 25th of November to the 22nd of December. So I wanted to show that as well. So, oh no, and then there was one other one that I wanted to show as well, which is the image from the Celtic lunar calendar. This is Helena Patterson. And she's got some wonderful books out, non-illustrated books, but this is the one which is illustrated so beautifully. And you can check those images. I know if you do Google searches. But, oh, you know what? I turned this off. That's what it was. That's what I needed to do. There. Then you can see it better. So again, with that, one of those trees that opens us up to the wisdom of the transformation from one into the other after having been through a time of perhaps some challenge with blackthorn. So I'm going to start by reading a poem from the Celtic Tree Calendar poem cycle by Beryl Bagant, I think it is. And I'll get some music going. So get comfortable. Get yourselves into meditative place. Into lying down or sitting and starting to focus on breath. So this is the Elder, the 13th moon, crone. And it starts with a quote, "Sister to each budding tree, Phoenix Roundtree." When the elder speaks, we listen. To one who will release in her own home, to leafy earth magic, to the thrill of stemmed panpipes, to the recollection of hedgerow branches weighed down with berry balls. Elder Mother bows reverently to earth, sharing her bounty. We taste and grow, reliable and strong, drink and become merry, sniff and reel delirious from the aura of compassion and fervor in lacy white blooms. Once we made pancakes with elder blossom rings, the stem springing from a still center, while flowers sacrificed themselves in wish fulfillment spells. We drank blue-black wine, and Venus called us from afar. You are the elder, never tall or stately, but always nourisher. In your presence, I know this moon of completion, life in death, death in life. I am strewn with your blessings. I am the elder's surrogate daughter. So follow your breath. And find that place of stillness deep within that opens you to connect with tree wisdom. And allow yourself to hear the voice of Elder of RUIS, the wisdom of the crone. as we start the journey back from our connection with Elder, just take a moment or two to be open to any final messages, any last insights. Bring your awareness back to your breath. Follow the inhale and the exhale, allowing your breath to bring you back to the here and now, to the place where you are. And as you find yourself becoming more and more present, this is the poem from the Woodland Bard. A traveling poet called George Borrow told me things about Elder I could borrow, such as: it holds a witch within its bark, always a lovely witch who haunts the dark. I'll tell ye a tale of love for a mortal maid. She said her bed was what the fairies had made. But a fae's omen is always woven into all they make. But as a young lad, love was anything I could take. She thought she had enraptured me with her charms, but my thoughts were more than being wrapped in her arms. Ay, those were days I may brag as being young and astray. But 'twas that bed omen from the Cailleach was what had her way. What I thought was love had stopped flowing, struth, and that mortal maid soon found herself a fairer youth. But in remorse, I was saved by the witch within the Elder's bark, that lovely forgiving witch, they say, who haunts the dark. She asked me for apples, she asked me for honey, but not once did she ask me to count out me money. The potion she made included some of her Elder too. I drank it, and drank it believing my passion would renew. But not only did my passion get shorter, my arms and legs did too. My body turned into sinews that I could feel the wind blow through. Arms began to caress me, and yes, love again began to flow. I had become a harp, and through me, love was for all to know. And at the end of the poem, the Woodland Bard shares a bit of the mythology of RUIS the Elder, saying, I have used mythology that tells of the Elder being the wise Cailleach of the trees, being our voice of conscience. She can reveal either the gift of divine love or fear of something dark behind us. And bards through the ages have shared stories of the spirit of RUIS the Elder, inspiring us to respond to omens by caring more for all life upon this earth. So, welcome back. I will share just a tad, just a little tad. Oh, right. One of the things which I had wanted to share, just as you start to come back, is I did also get this book a little bit ago from Simon Lilly. I love Simon and Sue Lilly. This is their tree spirit oracle. Got a lot of trees in their oracle. So I've got the deck and then the book as well. And it talks about elder as being such a strong healer, keywords being about love, forgiveness, healer, mediator, helper, offering the healing of hurts and the calming of aggression. And so just to share a little bit of my journey, and then if anybody else wants to while I'm recording, and then I'll stop the recording. But I didn't journey too far with elder. I was more connecting in with the energy of elder as healer. As I said a little bit before going into the meditation, it feels like a natural progression from Blackthorn that may challenge us to elder, which is the wisdom that comes from knowing how to glean the lessons and the strengths from the experiences that we've gone through. There was a number of moments of just that messaging of this too shall pass. Like, we will go through life and there will be hard times, and it is not that's the definition of the gift of the life, as it sort of says in the Woodland Bard's poem, that out of all that we have experienced, we become this harp, we become the way that we share the stories, and the healing that comes through that, the healing that comes with the gift of the sharing to the world. And I was looking at the tree and the image that I had chosen, and I'm sure many of the trees are like that. It's not the most contained, right? It's sort of all over the place. It's got these puffs of white all over. And she looked to me like, I had a couple of sort of wacky old great aunts in my past, and that's how she felt to me. You go into her house, there's stuff all over the place, but she knows where everything is. Everything has a purpose. Everything has can help and support it in some ways, and she knows where to go to get what is necessary. But it's not necessarily orderly and contained, and because she knows what's important. And so I really sort of took that energy in from her. So that's a bit of my sharing. Lori, you're here. Did you want to share some of what came up for you before I turn off the recording? Oh, yeah. You're muted, but
Yeah, I'm happy to, if it's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. First off, I'm going to be a little distracted because I've got this one to deal with. So, well, she came screaming out of a tree at me about a week ago. So she got dumped. And so she is now my constant companion with teeth. No, she's wonderful. But anyway, if she just shows up in the middle of the picture, I'm just trying to explain she's at that stage.
Yeah.
So I went for a walk just before we came into meditation and was trying to, talk to elder, and the only one that popped up was a young one. And I was like, aha. And then I looked around and there were all sorts of young trees and bushes and stuff popping up from the earth. We're coming out of a really serious drought, and one of the cards you held up earlier, one of the images you held up before the meditation, had the baby wrapped in it. Yeah. And I'm getting that threefold, well, mostly rebirth crone But there's a lot of rebirth within crone, which I'm discovering in my own life. So I got to philosophizing about all of that crone business and me and coming alive, because it's just the best time of my life. I really like not getting wolf whistled at. I mean, being invisible, it's really cool. You don't need to be Harry Potter. You just get to be a crone with gray hair and nobody notices. You can do whatever you want. It's just great. Anyway, so I'm on about all of this rebirth and crone, because and my ancestor, and I can feel my ancestor energy behind me, and I can feel the ancestry of this land. And I've got my feet in the river, all of that. So I'm waxing very philosophical. When we come up and I'm in meditation with all of you, and the elder I admire all the time out here by the driveway, well, she says, psst, psst, what about me? And I was like, oh, well, I thought of you when they had the pan flute part. I've been always meaning to make an elder whistle, and I haven't gotten that far. And so maybe I should have done that with she got hacked badly by the county. White people think they have to control the earth, and it's really destructive. And so they cut half of her off this summer. And so I was like, okay, well, you're who I expected. I expected elder. I expected a mature plant to come popping up to talk with me. She says, yeah, but I got all my seeds in before they cut me. I'm like, oh, good job. She says, all my seeds, she's a red elder, not a black one. And which the red berries are toxic to humans. So the birds get them all, which is, I think the birds should get all the black ones too. But, people think that they need to own everything on the earth. And so she's like, yeah, no, I'm a red elder for that reason. Anyway, it just was, and she was like, oh, and I said, well, you going to be okay? And she's like, yeah, I'll be back next year. I got really strong roots. They can cut off the top. It doesn't make any difference. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. Anyway, so I had a really lovely time reconnecting with her. And I think I've covered all the things. Yeah, it was just a lovely conversation with her. She's one that I've admired, well, pretty much daily for probably 6 or 8 years.
Yeah. Beautiful. I love that reflection too, because I think that in a different way, but it's like, you can do what you want to do up here, but the roots they're deep and they're solid and they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And I think when we look at that in our own lives as well, like there may be ruffles that are happening in the waves of our lives, but it's the experience of time or the wisdom of elder.
Agreed.
And that's
the other thing she yelled at me about was that, if I really look at the core of my life right now, I have no big stresses. I mean, I've got a lot of peacefulness worked out and everything in my life. Well, my biggest problem this week is making myself not run down and yell at the fishermen to get them off the river because they're catching fish that I think the otters should eat. But I can't go running down there and do that. I mean, I am outside the culture, but not quite that far out. Anyway, right. So that is really not a big problem.
Right.
Anyway, elder, smart, they're wise.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going deeper and deeper into the dark as we're here. So I'm going to stop the recording. And thank everybody who is joining us in Zoom land. And we will see you for the next one in a couple of weeks.